Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Kilbo Fraggin along with.
Gimixx.
This is officially episode 2 now. So we had 2 episodes. The first episode was not so
Yeah,
great.
it didn't turn out very great audio wise.
So this is officially episode 2, even though last episode we said was episode 2.
Yeah. In the intro for said episode, which is episode 1, we said episode 2, but we have since changed that to now this is episode 2, and that was episode 1.
Yeah. So, how you been, man?
I've been great. It's been, I feel like we haven't seen each other in a while.
I know.
It's good to catch up, and I haven't seen you since today is Wednesday, since Monday?
Yeah.
Damn, man.
I know. I think that's the longest we've gone without seeing each other. God, we sound like a married couple. All right.
I mean, let's be honest, we pretty much are at this point.
Yeah. No,
So.
no arguing that one for sure. So.
Yeah.
So, quick things that I just want to shout out to. I always do. First of which is going to be the Belding Bazaar, which is happening August 10th. From 9 to 1 at the Gathering Place in Belding, Michigan. If you don't know where that is, Belding or the Gathering Place, don't worry. Nobody else does.
Chances are, if you don't know where it is, you're not going anyway.
Right. But it is the largest, I would say the largest reoccurring farmers market. So not like a one big time thing, kind of like Burley Park is. So the largest, it happens every second Saturday of each month, June through October. So, like to see you out. I am the official MC, DJ, whatever you want to call it, DJ, I don't even know, brand flake, of the event. So if you want to come meet me, see me, come down to the Belding Bazaar. You can check them out on Facebook. And the second of which is Tailwagger's Pet Rescue out of Wyoming, Michigan. They do wonderful things. So Dan got the pleasure of meeting the puppies that we currently have right now through the rescue. So this rescue drives all the way to Texas, which is a high kill shelter state. And they rescue puppies, senior dogs, pretty much anything. I think the last transport we had, they brought back like 190 dogs. And they have fosters all throughout Michigan that help the rescue, which is what my wife and I do. So shout out to Michelle and Jason and the whole crew at Tailwaggers. We love what you do here, and wish you guys the best in the following year / lifetime of the rescue.
Yeah, that's it's awesome that they do that. I don't have any pets, but mainly because I can't.
Because he hasn't bought a house yet, so.
Yeah, I can have a cat in my apartment, but.
So you can have dinner, but not a pet.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, that's really awesome that they do that. Like they drive all the way to Texas. That's dedication right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'll barely drive to work.
Right, which is like half an hour.
Yeah,
so
so I admire their dedication.
Yeah. So shoutouts are done. Do you got anything? I know last time you didn't have anything.
No shoutouts other than to ourselves.
Okay.
With our social media.
Yes.
You can find us on Facebook at either B2 Gaming. The URL is actually not B2 Gaming. We actually haven't set a URL for that one yet because B2 Gaming was taken.
Right, and that's for our video game stream on Twitch.
Yeah, our streaming / other stuff. You can also find us each on Twitter. Twitter.com/KilboFraggin.
Yep.
For him. Twitter.com/the_Gimixx.
Yep.
For myself. And we have a Facebook page for this show.
Yep.
Which you can actually find at facebook.com/B2show.
I believe so.
I don't think I put the B2 show.
We will check into that and finalize that by the end of this episode here. So
Yeah, so that's just me not remembering things.
because he's old.
Because I'm an old man. My memory is not quite what it used to be.
Yeah.
So
So other than that, yeah, I mean, we've been kind of busy, trying to get this podcast set up. We've let Twitch slide a little bit, but we are kind of officially trying to get back on track on an actual schedule. So unfortunately, the way our lives work and the way that we are, we are so freaking busy, both of us,
yeah,
that there's not.
work is kind of it's not so much crazy for me.
Mm-mm.
It's just my schedule is kind of all over the place.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to, actually pick a schedule and stick
Right.
with it. We kind of have to wing it most nights,
So-
which is kind of why we've been slacking on the whole streaming.
Yep.
And as far as the whole podcast thing, it's been probably, a couple weeks since our last episode.
Yep.
It is something we do want to do regularly.
Yep.
So basically, kind of the reason we're holding off, besides right now, is I'm waiting for some new equipment pretty
Yes.
soon.
Yep.
I got a new microphone. I will be ordering another microphone so we can both have a decent microphone, a mixer, basically all of your kind of standard audio equipment that I'm working on getting so that we can have better audio quality and it doesn't sound like two idiots with just a webcam microphone.
Right. So, and with that, so we're going to try to, once we get into the kind of, I guess, scheme of things, if you will, I think we're going to do the podcast bi-weekly, so there'll be 2 coming out every month, and then the streaming on nights when we both get out, like, early enough that we're not, like, dead tired. Because there's some nights we get out at 5, some nights we get out at 2 in the afternoon, and some nights we get out at 11 at night. So
Yeah, some nights I get out at 5 and I am asleep by 7 o'clock.
right. So
So,
it's just
yeah.
something where, we're kind of like, we're getting better about texting each other about, hey, how you feeling? Do you want to do a stream? So,
We've been taking a lot of time, not so much obviously recording, but kind of planning things out, trying to
yes, get in a rhythm as much as we can.
Yeah, basically trying to get the. Sorry, there's a dog whimpering behind me. I don't know if the microphone's picking that up or not.
Yeah. So there's not a ghost, to clarify. Yeah.
But basically we're trying to kind of get all the behind-the-scenes stuff situated. We're trying to get our routines, our equipment.
Mhm.
So when we actually do sit down to record and whatnot, we kind of have an idea of what we're doing, and it's not just a last-minute, hey, let's record this.
Right.
That never happens with us.
No, never. And so with that, one last thing, I guess, for you guys as our listeners is Dan and I have been talking over the past few weeks, and we're trying to find our niche as far as what we want to talk about as far as podcasting goes. And we're thinking about leaning towards true crime, so doing, true crime, like unsolved mysteries kind of thing.
Right.
And then just random stuff. Like random mysteries, like weird stuff, like,
Yeah, some kind of, not necessarily like paranormal
right,
type stuff, but sort of kind of possibly paranormal
right.
with like some sort of,
We're just going to be kind of like, do what we want. No, I don't want to say that, but like, I'm interested in conspiracy theories, like true crime, like just kind of like mystery is going to be the general scheme of things, but there's going to be a lot that falls into it.
yeah,
So-
kind of different undertones of things. Like said, maybe we'll talk about one week that's just a straight up, true crime.
Yep.
Everything's been solved. It's just an interesting case.
Yeah.
Or one where people keep disappearing and people say it's aliens and,
Right.
or the Illuminati or
Right.
some big conspiracy that we'll kind of discuss and talk about and see kind of
Yep.
what we think about it, because we're not super. I'm not a big super believer in paranormal and
Yes.
aliens. I actually am a big believer in, but we'll save that for another day. But
Right. So we So that's kind of our housekeeping. We just kind of wanted to give everybody a quick, as quick as possible update as far as where we're heading. So, I guess we'll get into the.
Yeah, speaking of the random topics, that's kind of
Yes.
what we got here today.
We were actually we had both had a day off and we'd just been sitting around my house just talking about some stuff, and this topic came up. So this is literally a spur of the moment podcast for you guys.
It's something that the topic is something we had discussed before.
Yep.
But as far as the actual sitting down to record is something we were like, hey, the microphone I ordered came in today.
Right.
And I opened it up and was playing with it, and now here we are recording a podcast.
Right. So hopefully this turns out all right for you guys, and we're not just sitting here like,
We're not just sitting here in a room staring at each other for no reason.
I mean, we do that from time to time, too. So, I mean,
but it usually has a reason.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So, with that, today's topic is, I guess, technology's play in today's society, and if it is or is not at a level of addiction or kind of taking over our lives.
Right, and even whether or not, like, some of the technological advances we have are good.
Or
whether
bad.
they're bad or,
Yep. So, kind of what got us talking about this topic, I guess we'll start with that, is, we were talking about how much we rely on cell phones in our society.
Which is a lot.
Right. I know myself, I'm on it probably more than I'm off of it in a day's time.
I mean, because that's like, because you use yours a lot for work.
Yes.
Like you are. I mean, you're always getting texts and phone calls from work.
And that's, I think, part of the reason why it's become such a big deal is because everybody's trying to streamline everything so quickly that, I mean, everything for work's on my phone. Everything that I can communicate to my family, my friends, like, take pictures. You can literally do everything with one device that, even 10, 15 years ago when I was a kid, you would need multiple devices to do.
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, it's cell phones are not just a simple form of communication anymore.
No.
They're literally a computer in your pocket now.
Right. So, I guess with this, I'm going to read a blurb, and which says, people are becoming too addicted to technology, is what this article says. It says, the more advanced technology becomes, the more it seems to have control over our lives. In other words, people no longer need to read the newspaper, check the weather, updates on the community, or see how their favorite sports team did over the weekend. They can just check Twitter, Google it, or even ask Siri. Siri does have the answer for everything. It's kind of like a joke in there. There's no need to wait to get the newspaper when everything is on the internet. And I think that's, I mean, I don't want to say it's necessarily the downfall of our society or our generation, I guess.
Right.
But it is. I mean,
part of it, yeah. But I mean, some of the things that you just read off are actually I think are really good.
Yeah.
Like as far as like news.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, getting news like as it happens.
Yeah.
Is good.
See, and I agree. So, I mean, we're more of a connected group, I guess, if you would may, because we get it so quickly. But also, the issue with that lays, and I try to read both ends of that. But I mean, you know who you're going to get there, what kind of story you're going to get from CNN, and you know what kind of story you're going to get from Fox News, and so.
Well, I'm just talking as far as like getting news instantly, as far as like certain like local things. Like say there's a shooting at a store down the road,
right?
And the news reported that the dude took off this direction,
right?
Like knowing that you're in the direction that
he's going
is good.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Or, having a description of him. So even if you happen to see him, you know what he looks like. You can report it
Right.
as opposed to, waiting, getting a newspaper the next day, and then being like, oh, I saw this guy yesterday, but by that point, it's not all that helpful anymore.
Right. It's kind of like the same thing with like Amber Alerts. Like I know
Right.
they wake up everybody in the middle of the night, but at the same time, like how quickly would have that taken to get? Like even like let's say when TVs were a thing, so like not just newspapers.
TV still exists.
No, I know. But like when TVs first became a thing, like they still wouldn't have got that information from a news source until probably the morning after because they're not, right there. So I see
Right.
your point. It's more beneficial because we get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a balance that comes with. There's a lot of good, because getting certain information instantaneously is good.
Right.
But there's also plenty of things that could wait.
Yeah.
That you don't need.
Right.
Like, you don't need to know what Kim Kardashian wore 5 minutes after she's worn it.
No. And that's the whole, I mean, paparazzis have a job because paparazzis like thrive in this environment of technology, and
Yeah,
so
I imagine that the whole technology boom is the greatest thing that's ever happened to the paparazzi industry.
right. So yeah, I definitely agree with your good side of things and streamlining it, but I also feel like people also get to pick and choose what news they read, which can also be kind of like you said, the negative side of things, because I'm going to read what I want to read.
Right.
You know what I mean? Versus a newspaper, I mean, depending on the area, it could still be, swing one way or another from the political side of things, which
Right.
that's a whole different podcast. But, like being able to pick and choose that side, I think has created some of the issues in society today, because it's getting streamlined, but it's also getting streamlined in what way I want it to streamline. So
Yeah, I think like with technology and the internet especially, like when it comes to certain things, like it's streamlined things to the point where it's so easy for people to pick a side of something
mhm.
and other people to pick a different side of that.
Right.
Essentially, I think I would say probably dividing people
Yes,
probably way more than
we've ever seen.
any time
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. So
I mean, again, it's also same things. There are certain things where it actually brings people together.
Yep.
More than it ever has before.
Right.
With certain, like a lot of things nowadays, I think a lot of things are going a little too far with the whole politically correct thing.
Right.
But like, you can see where more people are coming together and trying to kind of, like publicly rid out, like certain, like racism, sexism,
Right.
Homophobia, those kind of things.
Right.
There are people who take it too far.
Yep.
But the fact that it's so easy for everybody to be just like open and communicate about those things.
So it's almost, you're saying it's almost giving them a platform.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't have had.
You know, I think like, I think people who grow up raised by the internet
Mhm.
have certain, excuse me.
And Dan's now possessed.
Have jeez, wow, it's not going away, is it? They have certain advantages that people who didn't have access to the internet do.
Right.
Like I think I was a kid who I basically raised myself on the internet.
Right.
Like I was always on the computer.
Yep.
I basically had access to people in people's mindsets and lifestyles that I would have never interacted with.
Right.
Even to this day, probably.
Yeah.
Like I'm 28 years old. I still probably wouldn't have met
That's old.
or interacted with these people,
Right.
even at this point in my life.
Yeah.
So like that mindedness.
Right.
Mindedness. Why did I say mindedness?
Trust the mind, touch. Um,
um, the open-mindedness that I have
Right.
about all these things, I mean, I might still have them. I don't know, but I feel like that definitely opened my mind up even more so
right.
because I was, introduced to these certain things at a younger age.
And that's where I have to agree with you and disagree with the article. So I'm going to read a little quick thing from here because you just opened up a topic.
I keep punching the microphone stand.
That's
I apologize.
okay. Yeah. So it says one negative effect of technology and social media taking over teenagers' lives is there is an increase of cyberbullying, which is true because it's easier to say something via text or anything on social media. It's easier to say something there than it is face to face.
Yeah, because I mean, with the internet and its anonymity,
but
it's a lot easier to
I also
bully people.
Right. And I also I agree with that statement because obviously it's easier because what did they do back in the day? Like they cut out newspaper clippings and glued it to a piece of paper and send it via
via
pigeon
telegram.
carrier. Yeah.
The Riddler.
Right. But I also think you bring up a good point that technology has kind of opened up. When I think of technology, and to kind of add to what you already said a little bit, I think of it as kind of a D&D game where you get to basically pick and choose who you want to be.
Right.
And people that have these differences, which I don't even like calling them differences. Like you're still normal. You just
but everybody has differences. I mean,
right.
Normal is a, in my opinion, is
right.
a completely non-existent term.
Right. And that's where society's norm, I guess, is what I'm going off over. What we're told is supposed to be normal.
Right.
When people veer off that path, and like you said, like homosexuality and stuff like that, it also gives them a platform for finding a group that they're going to be accepted in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think online it's probably about 50-50 for what you're going to find.
Right.
Like if you're like a young kid who is trying to come out as gay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you all right over there?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Seem to be having some issues.
Ear pain. We're good.
Gotcha.
Continue.
So yeah, if you're like a younger, kid who's trying to come out as gay, like
right.
on the internet, you can find places where everybody's going to be super supportive and they're going to,
oh, absolutely.
be encouraging.
Especially in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the same side, you're going to find, if you're doing it, if there's like a special forum or a website specifically for that, yeah, it's going to be all great.
Right.
You try to do that on like a more public place like Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. You're
right.
probably going to have equally as many supporters as you are, haters, for lack of a better word.
But I also think comparing that to society or communities, I think about the town that I live in, population of 60. If you're that 1 in 60 in a town, you're going to get belittled 10 times more than you are, if you're looking at it from a technology standpoint, being 50-50.
Right.
I'd rather take my chances on the internet than, with the community.
Right. And I get where you're coming from on that, but most people, you can get. I actually hear this a lot with YouTubers as well.
Okay.
Who get hundreds of thousands of comments on their pages a day.
Yep.
Right. They get 100,000 good ones.
Mm-hmm.
But they get one bad one.
Yep.
That one bad one affects them more than the 100,000 good ones.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where even if it is 50-50,
right.
I feel like it's still almost worse.
Right.
Just because of, there are plenty of people who don't let the negative affect them, which is great. It's how everybody should be.
Right.
But most people aren't, me
right.
included.
Yeah.
I don't take negativity well.
Yep.
Which is why it hurts my feelings when you say mean things to me.
I never say mean things to you, bud.
He's a liar. But yeah, so I mean, even if it's 50-50, I feel like that 50 in the negative kind of way outweighs the positive for most people.
Yeah, I would agree.
So
I mean, it's easier to break somebody down than it is to build them up. So
yeah, I'm not sure if that fit in with the point we were making,
no,
or if I
but
was trailing off to something. I'm not really sure at this point.
hey, this podcast has no boundaries, so
It does actually. The microphones only go so far.
touche. So the next thing that's kind of mentioned when we talk about technology taking over the world, and this one I have to, I guess quite frankly, I agree almost 100% with this one,
Okay.
and that is that the increase, not necessarily this says use in technology, but I would say the increase of availability of technology
Mm-hmm.
has drastically reduced people's actual physical activity.
Yeah, I will agree with that 100%. I'll take myself as a perfect example. I don't know if chances are most people who are going to be listening to this know us.
Right.
You know I'm a big dude.
Yeah.
No sense in trying to hide that. I wouldn't be able to hide it.
Right.
But yeah, I grew up basically always sitting on a computer or in front of a TV with a controller in my hand.
Right.
When everybody else was out,
Mm-hmm.
Moving.
Yeah.
Doing anything.
Yeah, and see, that's where I have to, Grandpa, if you're listening, which I don't think you are because you don't know what technology is, but I have to thank you, I guess, for starting me at a young age and giving the interest of baseball, because I've seen, I guess. The reason that I agree with this is because I've seen it happen, kind of like you, I've seen it happen in my life, okay? If that makes sense. So from a very young age, I didn't ever play T-ball, but shortly after T-ball, so whatever the first,
I actually did play T-ball.
So I didn't play T-ball, but after T-ball, when it was like coach pitch,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I got into baseball, and I played it
Gotcha.
all through high school. But I remember, like, at a young age, when this will age us quite well here, when Motorola's Razors were the biggest,
The Razors.
the biggest and baddest phone out there.
I was really excited. Side note, when they
Yeah.
tried to revive those,
Yeah,
and it was actually a flip phone again, but it
Right.
was like a flip with like the touch screen.
yeah,
I was really excited.
Yeah.
And I wanted one, but I'm pretty sure they
tanked. Yeah.
tanked hard. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that time when like flip phones and actual like non-brick portable phones were first becoming a thing.
So just after the Nokia brick days.
Yes. I lived close to Demarest Fields and Belding, and so I would remember, getting either a phone call or had a bunch of friends. That's when I had a bunch of friends. Now I only have one who, for some reason, I chose to do a podcast with.
That's not the smartest thing you've ever done.
Right. Would, spend the night or whatever, and we would literally go out to the ball fields and play, sun up till sundown. Apparently my dog does not like this topic.
Yeah,
but
maybe he likes it a lot, and that's the problem. He wants
Right.
to go to a ball field. And
Ooh, crap, you were right. I said the B word.
I don't know how well that's picking up.
Yeah.
But
So
I have a feeling pretty well. We're
So-
gonna try to move on.
so but I remember playing said sport that has the B word inside of it. That's ball for anybody that's listening. Yeah. But sun up till sundown,
right.
and I did that up until probably middle school. And I remember my dad getting the first like non-ancient, like we had a compact computer,
Mm-hmm.
and it would run like, I don't know, Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail and pinball.
and I didn't really.
Minesweeper.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't.
Still don't know how to play that game.
Yeah,
by the way.
neither do I. I just click until it's
Yeah, I'm like, I just try to get lucky.
right. Um, but he got a HP Pavilion,
Mm.
and one of the first games, and probably the downfall of my physical activity career, um, was the Elder Scrolls Oblivion,
Ah,
and
you, that was your
that
entry point to this lifestyle.
that was. I mean, so my dad had an Atari like all the time that we were growing up, and we had a
Right.
PlayStation, so we played it, but it wasn't to the level of like Oblivion, like where you could literally like that was the first
Where you
game.
literally, wow,
Yeah.
wasted your life into oblivion.
Yes, exactly. And you could feel like you were in this world. Like
Yeah.
it was the first game. I guess it was the first game that I ever played that was like short of like, James Bond, GoldenEye on like Nintendo. It was the first game that was like first person,
Mm.
and like you felt like you were like I'd never felt that way before about a game. And so that game ate like hours hours of my life. And that kind of led into, you know, kind of like you said before with like building, the groups for people.
Mm.
Like that's when I started getting into like MMOs and stuff. Like I never got into WoW. My other buddy Mitch was huge into that, and I remember
It was WoW was my thing.
right.
On and off for what 2008, I think. Wrath of the Lich King came out, and I was playing before then.
So
11,
yeah,
10, 11 years.
yeah.
On and off.
And so like, and that's when I really got into like the PC gaming side of things, because that was still the time where you couldn't really connect online like you can now on consoles.
Right. Yeah.
And that again goes into the movement of technology. And sorry, I had to laugh because I just realized I made like a
some like weird
finding Dory. I don't know, swimming through the ocean. Like
I just imagine the I don't know if you've ever seen the the song Friday by Rebecca Black.
yes,
There's a guy who'd like a dub of
uh-huh.
it, and there's just a scene where they're in the car and there's just this kid going, "My hand is a dolphin."
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing.
For
When I
anybody
was
who's seen the video, you'll understand
yeah,
that's exactly what he
we'll
did.
post it to our Facebook page so y'all know what we're talking about. But so I guess that's where like this one I really agree with, and even to this day, like I come home from work and I don't want to take the dogs for the walk. I don't want to go, like occasionally I will want to.
There's a spider on the wall,
There is.
and I am not a fan of that.
All right. Well, just keep an eye on it. You'll be all right. Like even
If I suddenly die and stop talking, it's because I had a heart attack.
yeah. But like even today, like not wanting to do like I'll go play a round of golf. Don't get me wrong. I'm still physically active, but not to the same level I was before technology.
Yeah, see, that's my problem is, at least with you, even if you stop being actor for a while, you kind of have a baseline to return to.
Mm-hmm.
See, I never had that.
Yeah.
I was always the fat kid who played video games all day.
Mm.
So, I mean,
Like from a young age, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, because growing up, my dad had an Atari. We played for a little while. And then we got a Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And basically since then,
Yeah.
Mario Kart, GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Basically since then, I've been sucked into the non-active video game technological world.
Right.
So.
And that's that's kind of the whole idea of the topic. So the next thing that I'll read another blurb from this article real quick is it says today's society is becoming more and more addicted to technology that people are not appreciating what the world has to offer. So teenagers would rather watch Netflix or FaceTime with their friends rather than hang out with their friends in person. I am guilty of doing all of these things.
Are you reading that, or is that just your follow up to that?
I that's my follow up to that. Like and I see it, you know, more so, you know, like I think it was my dad a couple of years ago. Um, we were all sitting around a bonfire,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden I heard my dad said, "Wow," and I was like, "What?" And I literally looked up, and it was me and my wife Sydney and a couple other people sitting around the bonfire, and my mom, and everybody but him were on their cell phones, like as we were surrounded by like a group of like 8 people that we could be socially interacting with.
Right.
We were just all indulged in our phones.
See, I don't think I'm that bad when it comes to my phone. Like, if I'm out with people,
He's lying.
no, I really don't think like if there's like a lull in the conversation where we're just kind of like hanging out, not doing anything, I'll pull out my phone and check
Right.
Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm also, I think the big thing for people is the social media side of things.
Yeah.
Where I'm not a big social media guy.
Right.
Like, I have Facebook, but like I don't pay attention to people.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So,
Like, my Facebook is basically just, pages that I like.
or
For certain-
memes or random
Yeah,
videos.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't really have this great interest, and I'm not invested into anything that I have on my Facebook.
Right.
It's just, for me, it's just, oh, here's a minute of downtime.
Yep.
Let's look at Facebook and see what kind of memes show up.
Right.
So,
And I think that, that for some odd reason kicked a thing into my head that maybe it's social media's doing. In that, okay, so I invite you over, right?
Okay.
So,
that's a good start.
okay, so I invite you over to my house, such as a day like today.
Right.
But I can already know everything that you've done in your life the past 12 weeks if I haven't seen you in that long.
True.
Just by checking your Facebook.
Right. So,
So-
yeah, that kind of like,
It defeats the whole purpose because I think of like, again, back when I was younger, like, and my dogs didn't bark at everything.
dogs are going insane right now.
But
Hopefully the mics will cut most of it out at least.
right. But like, I didn't see my cousins for months on end,
Right.
and so we had something to catch up with. Now
Right.
I can see everything that everybody's
like-
doing.
Exactly. Like, that need to catch up
Right.
no longer exists.
And like, it's not like, when technology first become like, I guess this is the biggest thing where you can kind of see it happening, is that like, even when technology first became like a thing and it was starting to streamline before like the social media things, like we could call or text and say, hey, how's it going, and still get that update from them.
Mhm.
And so we would have the update, but wouldn't know, kind of like you said, what's going on across the world like
Right.
we do today. So like, I've got a cousin that lives in Chicago. I can literally Google what's happening in Chicago right now and have a list of everything that's happened in the
Right.
last,
Or just pull up his Facebook page and
Right.
everything that's not just gone on with Chicago, but everything that's gone on with him.
Right.
I mean, granted, yes, some people don't
Right.
share as much to their social media as others do.
But still, I can get a general synopsis of, oh, they went on vacation, like, I then can, like, when we get to family gatherings, hey, how was vacation? Which then leads to a 2-minute conversation, and now we're in that lull that you talk about. And
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
And I think social media, some people, I think they really misinterpret the point of social media.
Yep.
I think Facebook and things were designed to reconnect people who can't see each other on a daily basis.
Right.
It was not designed for people to,
Not do anything.
yeah, for people to give us too much information.
Right.
Like, I don't need to see a picture of what you ate for lunch.
Yeah.
Maybe if you went out somewhere special and it's like a big fancy, or you went just, not even fancy, but you just went somewhere that's special.
Right.
Or like it's your anniversary dinner or something like that. Like that I can kind of see.
Right.
But if it's just a normal Tuesday and you post a picture of your grilled cheese sandwich,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that.
Right.
Why? Who needs that? Why would you post that?
Right. Exactly.
And if you are one of those people who post pictures of your lunches, stop.
Right. Please. I don't need to know every meal that you have for the last 200 days.
Spider's getting closer.
I know. I'm waiting for him to just jump off the wall and like. Have you seen Alien?
It's just like the face grabber thing.
Yeah.
Just, ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
All right. Well, I'm taking Dan to the hospital because he just broke his nose. No, I'm just kidding.
I just I what's the word? I mimicked the face grabber with my palm and
Yeah.
did it a little too hard, and it kind of hurt a little bit.
Yeah. I guess we'll end kind of the topic for today with this with a question, and I'll ask you, and then I'll follow up to it. So, where do you think? So we've both kind of been alive.
Couple of days now.
Right. I've got a few on you, but
I
the-
hate you.
but where, seeing what technology has done in our lifetime, you know, like after
Dog sounds like a race car.
I know, after like seeing the start of like really cell phones and stuff,
Yep.
and what we're at today, and coming to like, we're looking into augmented reality and stuff like that, which is up on VR. I have no idea what's going on with my dog. So,
Yeah, it's they're not having a good time. Maybe they see the spider too, because I don't
yeah,
anymore. It's gone.
I don't know. Maybe.
That's a problem.
Yeah. But anyway, so my question, now getting back on track, is where do you think, or what do you think in our lifetime we will see? Because technology is not stopping,
Right.
or not discontinuing its advancement by any means. So, where do you think the next step is, or where do you think it's going to get by the time that we're, 6 feet under?
Honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I think it's going to be something that we can't even conceive in our minds right now.
Okay.
I mean, you figure, who would have ever thought that we can basically have a computer in our pocket that
Right.
can do every single thing we'd ever needed to do.
Yeah.
Pretty much, besides spit out money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like nobody would have ever thought, like, hey, yeah, I'll have this little rectangular object in my pocket, and it'll make phone calls, and I'll be able to send messages to people anywhere and look up any information, and then have a map in it, and then
Right.
like, it's not. I think it's going to be something. Like, I think by the time we are nearing the end of our lives, there's going to be something new that we would have never even been able to think about.
Okay. And I would agree. I think my, I don't know. I don't think that, necessarily like we'll get to the level of like the Jetsons.
Level of what? Sorry.
The Jetsons.
Ah,
Like,
gotcha. We're not going to have floating cars and
no.
the
I don't-
cities that are essentially all floating. And
I mean, I think we're getting so like I guess
random side question.
Yeah.
Why does everything have to float in the future?
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah.
Is the ground just like so not safe?
Probably
anymore?
because we destroyed the Earth, so we're just literally floating in space at this
So the
point.
Jetsons was kind of going political on the
Right.
whole thing about saving
Well,
the Earth long before
Yeah.
it was really a big thing.
And that brings up like my next point that I was kind of gonna tie in here is, I guess, not where I think technology is going, but where I hope it goes,
Right.
is to make our planet and our society more sustainable or self-sustainable.
Right.
So, I see it, solar energy is kind of becoming huge, and I think that's kind of one of the next big things as far as, science and technology goes.
Right.
But I don't know as far as, what level that will go to. There's some places that are starting to make like full buildings out of like solar,
Yes.
panels.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would hope that it's more self-sustainable, because I see our um like I do think that us as a society are treating our planet like shit.
Yeah.
Um
I'm not like a big, I'm not super, go
sorry.
green kind of person.
Right.
But I am a. Is
Watch
that
what
really
you're
such a
doing.
good idea
Right.
kind of person?
Exactly.
You
And
know?
that's where I'm at. Like, you know, why haven't we started, as or I guess yeah, as the United States of America, the country that's supposed to be the biggest and baddest in the world, or at least we think we are. Um, yeah. I see other countries like making roads out of trash, basically, like they're
Yeah.
reusing it, and I'm like, why are we not doing that?
Yeah. There's a lot of things that, like I said, I'm not, a super, everything has to be green, but like there are certain things where I don't see why we wouldn't do.
Right.
Like
And that's
using recycled products to like build, like you said, roads and buildings and
yeah,
all this stuff. Like, wouldn't that be obviously better for the environment because it's
right,
obvious it's not stuff's not going into a landfill or
right,
wouldn't it be like more cost effective too
right,
to like I mean I understand like the whole processing of recycled products is kind of a costly process.
yeah. But I think about like their seal coating of roads that they do up here in Michigan, because if somebody's listening that's not from Michigan, and we have the crappiest roads apparently, uh, we
Need to
do.
fix those damn roads.
Right. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was a really horrible impression, but I think
um,
hopefully people who are around here might know what I'm going for. At
right.
least.
Right. Why not use recycled plastic? You know what I mean? Because I think about like seal coating. They basically what they do is they throw a thin layer of tar or like liquefied asphalt, I guess, down on the road, and then like they put a layer of gravel on, let it set for like 2 weeks, and then come back and seal coat it again with tar.
Right.
And I'm like, somebody has to dig that gravel up, or we had to destroy part of the environment to find that gravel to use for this, when we could just be like, hey, here's this water bottle, make a freaking road out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand using certain products like wood, whether some people say it's not, but like wood and trees are absolutely a renewable resource if you do it right.
Right. You cut one, you plant one. I mean,
Yeah, I mean but the problem is that's not what's happening.
no.
But
And
trees are a renewable resource. Build more things out of wood.
right. And so I guess to get back off from the side tangent about side tangent.
I don't know how we got here, but
Yeah.
what were we talking about to begin with?
So where I think technology is going to go
Technology.
in the future, I agree. I think we're not going to be able to know even remotely what's going to happen, or what we're going to even be able to, physically do. I think it's going to get to the point where we really, unfortunately, can't determine between reality and technology. Like looking at a VR aspect of it. Like I think that technology is going to get to the point where we don't know the difference between it. But technology in a whole, like I think about what my iPhone sitting right next to me can do, and I'm like, I don't know where they're going with this. Like I don't know how we can advance this except for, eventually we're going to have a freaking, terabyte freaking processor in this thing that we can I don't even know what we could do with it still. Like
Our phones will be our cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we'll just hold on to the phone and it'll just take us where we need to go somehow.
Yeah. And that's the part that scares me. You bring up the cars, and I think about, the technology that they're trying to get, like self-driving cars. And I'm like, all it takes, because basically they're trying to go through and like map out the yellow and the white lines of roads. Yeah. And I'm like, I'd hate to be that person because one small error in your drawing or whatever, this program that you're sending to this car, and you're going to be the cause of some serious damage. So
Yeah, that's. I mean, I like the idea because I'm kind of fascinated by technology, but I think a lot of it is. A lot of things these days can go down some dangerous
yes,
roads.
and it's not because of us. It's going to be because of the technology that we created. So
It's going to be because of both. We're creating the technology.
right,
so.
exactly. So us, yeah.
Well, not me personally.
Yes, you.
It's my fault. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. Gimixx is the root of all evil. So I guess that will wrap up our topic for today. Something that was requested by one of our listeners here in Michigan was that we end each podcast on a random Florida man story. So I guess this week I'll read it, and then the next podcast that we do, you can pick one.
Yeah, considering I didn't know we were doing it. So
Yeah.
why don't you go ahead and do it?
Yeah, surprise.
So
I just want to say before we get into this, I feel like this podcast, for not being planned, kind of went off without a hitch. Like, I'm kind of surprised that it went this.
We'll see how it goes when we actually go back and
Yeah,
listen to it.
yeah, and we're gonna be
See.
like, what the hell?
Turns out we didn't actually record this entire thing, or one of our microphones are muted or something,
Right,
and it's just you talking to yourself.
right. All right, so this story, I'm gonna read the headline. I'll read the story, and then you can tell me your opinion, or we can discuss it a little bit. But the headline reads: Florida man blames horse for home break-in.
What?
Yep, you heard it here. So, a
Okay.
52-year-old Florida man has been arrested after reportedly using a horse to break into a home. I hope we find out how he did this.
I think I've actually. This is recent, isn't it?
Yes, this is July 30th, so yesterday.
Yeah, this is yesterday. Okay, maybe I didn't see it because I remember seeing something
Similar?
Yeah. Oh, I kicked the mic stand again. Sorry.
So, this incident happened last week
Okay.
at a Pasco County home and was all caught on video.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this.
So, homeowner Steve Ferguson, I don't know why when I said Steve Ferguson, it reminded me of the old SNL skit, the Celebrity Jeopardy, where,
Suck it, Trebek.
yeah, Turd Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Anyway, homeowner Steve Ferguson told Bay 9 News that he started getting alerts on his phone that showed surveillance video of a man on his property. After calling the sheriff's office, he decided to head over himself. Upon arrival, he saw a horse running away and then ran into Lonnie Maddox. I said, "What were you doing in my house?" Ferguson explained. The guy then said, My horse broke into your house, mister, and I had to go in to get her." I said, "Okay, so she broke into the gate, and then the porch, and then the house." Video
It all adds up.
Video showed Maddox walking around the property, entering the screened-in porch with the horse, and trying to enter the front door, which was padlocked. So apparently that attempt was unsuccessful. He broke into the back window to get in. According to an arrest report, Maddox told deputies that the horse went into the yard through a broken fence, so he followed it. He also told officials he was interested in renting the property and wanted to see what it looked like. Ferguson did confirm that he was remodeling the home and planned to rent it. Maddox was charged with burglary of dwelling. He didn't take anything, but is accused of doing $100 worth of damage.
That's it? Just $100?
Yeah, but it wasn't him, it was the horse.
Right,
Yeah.
Just the horse.
Yeah, clarify. Deputies said the horse didn't belong to Maddox and was returned to its rightful owners.
So he not only blamed a horse for breaking into the house.
Yep.
It was a stolen horse?
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's you blamed someone else's horse that you stole to break into someone's house.
So I guess any foot or hoof, if you may, that he had to stand on just went out the
So
window.
Did it say that when they found out the guy found the horse running away?
What? Say that again?
So when the guy, the owner of the house,
Mm-hmm.
when he pulled up, it said he found the horse running away.
Yes.
So the horse decided to hoof it
Yeah.
out of there.
Yeah. He's like, I'm getting the hell out of here.
He's like, I gotta go.
That was a horrible horse impression.
I think
from
both
both
of
of
us
us.
are really bad.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
We'll fix that in post. Put an actual horse sound in there.
Yeah. So I guess this comes to tell you that you shouldn't use horses for your getaway driver on burglaries.
No, you should not.
No. No.
I don't think you should really use horses for anything involving a crime of any
Right.
kind.
Right?
You know.
I mean, I'm sure back in the day. Again,
Back in
before
the day,
before technology was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's another problem with technology. People don't get away on horses; they get away in cars and jets and
Yachts.
what?
Yachts.
Yachts. Yes.
Yeah.
The getaway yacht.
So that about does it for the B2 show episode 2, which we will be officially calling
Something.
Is Technology Taking Over the World?
Yeah, let's call it that.
Yeah, how
Is
about that?
technology taking over the world? And our answer is yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And so, quick few things just to let our listeners know. Once again, we'd like to thank you all for your continued support.
Or new support.
Yes, new support too. So,
Continuing support would be much appreciated as well.
but one thing is we are doing this this podcast because we enjoy it. So it's pro bono. We don't ask any money from you guys.
It's true.
On
Unfortunately.
our Twitch channel, however, we both have links set up.
Sorry, I keep kicking this mic stand. I need to figure out something how to not do that anymore.
Yeah, on our Twitch channels, which you can find on twitch.tv/KilboFraggin and twitch.tv/the_Gimixx.
That one's mine.
We do have links set up that accept donations should you want to. Any gift is appreciated, even if it's a penny. So, but
And
with
just for the record, we're not asking for donations.
yes,
We know if that's a thing people
yes.
do.
I mean, people do it for our streams on Twitch, so we just wanted to let you guys know that that is available. We have talked about Patreon or something like that, where there's a tri-tiered level of what content you get from this.
Right.
But we just don't feel like we'd be doing ourselves or our listeners justice for asking you for money for more content than what other people
when
get.
we don't even have enough content to put out for
Exactly.
free right now.
But with that, kind of why I mentioned that is you should, again, be seeing more involvement on our Twitch pages, and we also recorded a couple of YouTube videos that you'll be seeing uploaded. We'll try to do one once a week. We'll try.
We will try.
Try to do one once a week.
Eventually.
So we had about 5 or 6 recorded from the last time we got together, and then my computer's hard drive decided to.
So we lost everything.
Yeah, rip.
But yeah, we're gonna try to, or we eventually will. There is no try. There is only do.
Right. Nice try, but you were close there.
What is it?
Do or do not. There is no try.
So I mean, you got what I was going.
It wasn't try or do not because they're due the do of the tries.
Try. I don't even know what I said. I feel like I made much more sense than you made me sound out just then.
Oh, good.
Eventually, just a matter of when, we will have a solid schedule down.
Yes.
At least for the uploading side of things. Twitch might be a little iffy.
Right.
But we will try to have something down as soon as possible for at least for the uploading of the podcast, which the audio of this will be uploaded to YouTube as well.
Yep. And we are on, I think we mentioned it, but we'll mention it again. We're on Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcast, Spotify,
Yep.
Google Podcasts, I think Stitcher, a couple other ones.
Yep.
I don't remember if iHeartRadio ever went through or not.
Yes, it did. Yep.
Did it?
Yep. I got an email. So, so whatever you listen to, you can find us there.
Yep, pretty much on all of the major podcast platforms and some of the not as major ones as well. So,
Right.
Or you can just go to find our Facebook page,
Right.
Which is what? Did you ever find the?
Oh yes. Give me just a second. I'm
exact
literally
URL.
sitting right in front of my
You can
computer.
just click on it right there. It's right there.
Hey, look at that.
It is the B2 Show.
The B2
So
Show.
Facebook.com/the B2 Show.
Yep.
We will be uploading it'll be a video, but it'll just be the audio with a picture in the background.
Yes.
We'll be uploading that to the actual B2 Show channel, probably our other ones as well.
Yep.
We'll probably upload it to the B2 Gaming channel, probably our individual Facebooks as well.
Yep.
Which is facebook.com/KilboFraggin
Right.
and facebook.com/the Gimixx, I think.
Yes. And so give us just 1 second here. I lost my train of thought. So that has been another B2 Show episode here.
Yep. That's basically we'll try to get things on a schedule for uploading. Whether or not Twitch is going to be following to a exact schedule is debatable.
Yes.
But everything else we will be working hard on getting
right.
hard on.
Oh my gosh.
It was a clean podcast.
Yep, and now it's explicit. So
I don't know if we still have to mark it explicit on that one. I think that one can slide.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll try to get everything. Another place to find our podcast, which I have it posted on our website information on the B2 Show channel, is where to basically find our podcast. It's kind of a little web page we have there, and it gives the link for all of the sources that we have for the podcast.
Yep.
It is, click on the About tab on our
About tab.
I can't remember the exact everything right there. Should be in the.
Okay, we'll get that here sometime. But
it is anchor.fm.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Is it just anchor.fm/the B2 Show?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so just go to anchor.fm/the B2 Show. Anchor is the site that we use to host our podcast at the moment.
Yep.
Go to that website. It'll be kind of our little page, our little show page with the links for all of for the Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of that stuff will be right there. So.
Right. So, with that, just want to one last thing that just came to my mind. Should any of our listeners have any ideas for future podcasts or future Florida Man articles or topics or things you want us to...
just random questions.
Yeah. We are on Facebook. I know both of us have the page linked, so we will both get the message. So hopefully you'll get a quickly response. And we appreciate the continued support, and we can't wait to see you next time on the B2 Show.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for listening, and we will... I have no idea what I was going to say there. We will speak to you again in the future.
Bye!
Bye.